We are solving more trig equations, and in the future, I probably won't do this day because it's, we use our calculators all the time. Today we are, using our calculators to solve. And so have your calculators out because you want to make sure that you know how to do this, especially since my tests are really not hard. Multiple guess tests. That if you didn't know how to solve an equation, you could always, when in doubt,
Graph it out.
All right.
That was beautiful.
All right. Okay. So are you inspired? No.
He needs to go on like Kids Bop or something.
Okay. So who have you seen Sister Act 2? Sister Act 2. Have you not? Oh my God.
Class time.
You guys all need to see Sister Act 2. It's fabulous.
It's just
The line from Sister Act 2 is if you wake up in the morning and you're singing and all you can do all day long is sit there and sing, then you're a singer. Like, example one, ladies and gentlemen. No, actually. Example one. Please remember that I do grade your notes, and I will be collecting those next week for your quarter 3 notes grade. Please make sure that you have example 1 and the directions. Use a graphing calculator. Use a graphing calculator to approximate the solutions in the interval from 0 to 2 pi. Last Friday, when we started solving equations, it was a very general statement solved. And when you have a trig function like sine or cosine that goes on forever in both directions, solving means that there are an infinite number of solutions. So we had to worry about the whole plus 2 pi k or 2 pi n, whatever letter you want to use. And that was weird, but okay. So it's better now that they have restricted what we want to see. And so we only want to look in this window from 0 to 2 pi. So that's actually going to be useful for us. On our calculator window, we want the x-min to be 0 and the max to be 2 pi. And that'll just limit how much we have to look at and how many answers we have to find. We have 4 cosine squared of x minus 4 cosine of x equals 1. Oh, sorry, minus 1 equals 0. You can see that it is set equal to 0. Which is very nice, but there are lots of ways we could solve this, but since we're just using our calculators, the easiest way is to put the left side in y1, the right side in y2, and then calculate the intersection, which works a lot. It's a great way to do that. So you've done that before. Of course, the hardest part is just making sure that you type this in properly. In my calculator, this is 4 times cosine of x being squared. You have to square the entire function cosine of x, so make sure you use parentheses appropriately. It's even easier in the Casio, so we're going to type this in. First of all, we should be in radian mode. So make sure you're in radian mode. We have 4 quantity cosine of x, quantity squared, minus 4 cosine of x, minus 1. And you're all doing this with me. And y2 we have equal to 0. I don't quite hear enough calculator button pressing. Oh, that's not there.
Nicholas, is that you?
No,
I've been kind of graphed out already.
Okay. We want to go ahead and change our window. So I'm going to change the window because we want our window to go from 0 to 2 pi. So the x-min is going to be 0. We want 2 pi for the maximum. And I think for y-min and y-max, we're looking for where it's equal to 0, which is really just the x-axis. -4 to 4 is probably fine for most things. So this is a nice window for this type of question. I'm going to go ahead and graph that. And of course, when you're using your calculator, it's always appropriate to draw a sketch. And, oh, whoops. So my little sketch here, this is an interesting graph. And we're just going to find the intersection and label those points. This is the intersection. Here's our line y equals 0, that horizontal line, and it's intersecting our cosine squared curve right here and here. You didn't square it.
Oh, okay.
Insert squared. And you're missing a term?
What term?
The 4 cosine of x.
What the heck is wrong with this computer?
No, you've only got 2 terms typed in, and you should have 3. All right, we're going to calculate the intersection. So I'm going to do second calculate. This is a great menu. You can see, and the intersect is number 5, and we're going to choose number 5. And Tinkerbell. Now, Tinkerbell, right now, I can see she's way up here at 7 on the y-axis. If you use the up and down arrow, what you're doing is you're switching between curves. So y1, y2, y1, y2. And then the left and right, we're going to move Tinkerbell over here to the intersection. We've done this before, right? Yeah, okay, good. So move Tinkerbell to your intersection and do first curve, yes, enter. Second curve, enter. Yes, enter. Enter, enter, enter. On the Casio, so easy. Calculate, intersect, done. And you're going to label the point. 3 decimal places is probably good. 1.779, comma 0. If it does not say intersection, you did something wrong. It should say intersection. Okay. And then for the Casio, all you have to do is arrow to the right, and it'll give you the next intersection point. We can't do that on our TIs, so we got to go back through the menu again. So second, calculate the intersection. I'm going to move Tinkerbell to the second intersection and do enter, enter, enter. Enter, enter, enter. We get 4.504, comma 0. So the solutions for our angle measure are x are 1.779 and 4.504. So very easy. Yes, on a multiple choice test, if you didn't know how to solve it the math way, then the cheater's method would be use your calculator. Now, my answers are typically going to be exact. So like pi over 6. So what can you do? If the answer is pi over 6, you're like, put pi over 6 into your calculator and approximate it. Okay. All right. Okay. One more. Wait, what? 4.504. Sample 2. Example 2. Use a graphing utility to approximate the solutions to 3 decimal places of the equation in the given interval. So again, they're giving us an interval here. This is the interval going from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And again, this is just the x min and x max value that we're going to restrict our window to on our calculator. So it's kind of nice when they give us an interval. Makes our job easier. Bless you. We have 6 cosine squared of x minus cosine of x minus 2 equals 0. This is a great strategy for solving any equation. Left side in y1, right side in y2, calculate the intersection. It works all the time. And these are even better when they're set equal to 0 because that's, I don't know, just easier sometimes. You can always move stuff from the right side to the left side or vice versa. if you wanted to, and set it equal to 0 as well. All right, we're going to type this one in. So I have 6 quantity cosine of x, quantity squared. That is the hardest part, squaring the entire cosine function. Minus cosine of x, minus 2, squaring the entire cosine function, not just the x. Set equal to 0, and then we need to change the window. So you're going to go to window. You're going to go to window, and for the x minimum, we want to be from negative pi over 2, and the maximum would be pi over 2. So negative pi over 2. The maximum should be pi over 2. And my y mins are fine there. What's the actual? All right, and then graph that. And again, anytime you're using a calculator, because on my test, you must show work. You just make a little sketch. Not hard to do. Quick sketch. Yeah. Negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. All right. And then, again, we can calculate the intersection. So I'm going to go calculate the intersection and move Tinkerbell to the intersection. Enter, enter, enter. Negative 0.841. And do it again. Calculate the intersection of the other one. Move Tinkerbell to the other intersection point where we're intersecting with the x-axis. Enter, enter, enter. And we get 0.841. 841, 0. So our solutions for x are negative 0.841 and positive 0.841. Now I'm lazy and I never write the leading 0, but I have a doctor friend. She's a vet, and I've spoken to many. I have so many doctor friends. And they, too, all agree that you should always put the leading 0. Why?
It's easier to see.
Safety. Because if you happen to not have that 0 there, and maybe my point wasn't so obvious, and you would think you're distributing medicine, right? 84 milligrams of some antibiotic might be, an OD for somebody. And so, having that leading 0 ensures that we're not thinking this is 84 or 841 versus 0.84. You know what I mean? So having that leading 0 actually is really, really important. I'm just lazy, so I apologize for my laziness. All right. Do you have questions for me? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have CP36. Get her done.